Have you ever thought if I could just automate more of my real estate business, I'd finally have time to breathe? Maybe you've thought about automating your follow-up, your emails, your texts, your appointment scheduling, your social media, maybe even your phone calls. And honestly, that's not a bad idea. My wife Yvonne and I talk to real estate agents about automation all the time. We love automation, and we've built a big part of our business around helping agents use it. But here's something we tell real estate agents all the time. You shouldn't automate everything. In fact, if you automate the wrong things, you can actually hurt the relationships you're working so hard to build. So the real question isn't how much of my business can I automate? The better question is, what should I automate and what should always stay human? Let's talk about that. Imagine you're a real estate agent. It's 2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon. You're showing houses. Your phone is in your pocket, but you're not looking at it because you're trying to give your clients your full attention. And during that hour, you get a new lead. Someone fills out the contact form on your website. Then another person calls, and someone else sends a text message asking about a property. You don't see any of it, and that's okay, because you're doing your job. The problem happens when you get back to your phone 2 or 3 hours later and realize you've got new opportunities sitting there, and they haven't been responded to. So that's where automation can be incredibly powerful. An automated system can immediately engage that new lead, collect the information. You need to answer common questions and even help guide that person toward the next step. Whether that's scheduling a call, requesting more information, or starting a conversation. That doesn't replace you. It simply makes sure the conversation keeps moving while you're busy doing what you do best. And that's one of the most important distinctions when it comes to automation. Automation should start the conversation. It shouldn't replace the relationship. So let's look at some of the things that really should be automated. The first one is instant lead response. If somebody reaches out at 9 o'clock at night, you shouldn't have to be sitting there with your phone waiting to respond. So your system can acknowledge the inquiry, capture their information, answer basic questions, and help move them toward the next step. Then you can take over when you're available. The second one is lead nurturing. Here's something every real estate agent, of course, knows. Most people who contact you today aren't necessarily ready to buy or sell today. Maybe they're 6 months away, maybe they're a year away. Maybe they're just starting to think about it. Trying to remember to personally follow up with every single person over the next 60 or 90 days is almost impossible. That's where an automated nurture campaign makes sense. It can send helpful information. It can answer questions. It can remind people that you're available. And most importantly, it can keep your name in front of them. Not in a pushy way, not with, hey, are you ready to buy yet? But with useful information that helps them. And when they're finally ready, you're there. So another great thing to automate is appointment scheduling and reminders. Think about how much time gets wasted going back and forth. Someone says, are you available Tuesday? No, how about Wednesday? What time? How about 3? Actually can't do 3. You know the drill. A booking system can eliminate most of that back and forth. The person chooses a time, they receive a confirmation, they get a reminder, and you know what's on your calendar. Simple. That's exactly the kind of process automation is good at. Then there's post-closing follow-up. This one is huge because getting to the closing table isn't the end of the relationship. It's actually the beginning of what could become a very valuable long-term relationship. But here's the problem. When you're busy, it's easy to think, I need to call that client. I need to check in with them. I should ask them for a review. I need to stay in touch. And then 3 months go by and you've completely forgot. We've all done it. That's why these things are perfect candidates for automation. You can have a system remind a client shortly after closing, then another helpful touch point 30 days later, another check-in at maybe 60 days, maybe a referral request at some point, and then continue with a long-term keep-in-touch campaign. The system remembers, you don't have to. And that's really one of the biggest benefits of automation. It doesn't replace your memory, it supports it. But now we get to the other side of the equation. What should you not automate? Here's the simple rule Yvonne and I use. If something requires your personal judgment, emotional presence, or specific knowledge about that individual, keep it human. For example, let's say your client texts you, "My insurance agent needs more information from the sellers about the age of the roof." Should an automated system respond? Probably not. That's a moment where your client needs you to help. Or maybe a buyer just had a terrible inspection, or a seller is frustrated because their house hasn't sold, or a client is overwhelmed because the transaction has become complicated. These are not automation moments. These are relationship moments, and that's an important distinction. Touch points can be automated, moments cannot. There's another thing I don't think you should completely automate: your voice and your story. AI can help create content. AI can help you write faster. AI can help you organize ideas. But your experiences are yours. Your stories are yours. Your opinions are yours. Your knowledge of your market is yours. And that's what makes you different. If you turn everything over to AI and let it create everything for you, eventually your content can sound exactly like everyone else's. And that's a problem. Because in real estate, people don't just choose an agent because of information. They choose an agent because they trust them. They like them. They believe that person understands them. AI can help you move faster, but it can't make you more you. And here's where I think this gets really interesting. The purpose of automation isn't to make your business less personal. It's actually the opposite. Think about it this way. If automation handles the repetitive things, the reminders, the follow-up, the scheduling, the routine messages, the administrative tasks, then what's left for you? The important stuff. The conversations, the strategy, the negotiations, the difficult phone calls, the personal relationships, the clients who need you, the people you really want to stay connected with. Automation gives you the ability to maintain the breadth of your relationships. You provide the depth. And that's where automation becomes really powerful. But there's one more piece that I think is incredibly important. Automation can't fix unclear messaging. If you don't know who you're trying to attract, if you don't know what problem you solve, if you don't know why someone should choose you, and you don't know what you want that person to do next, automation isn't going to solve those problems. It will just make the confusion happen faster. That's why Yvonne and I always say, clarity comes before automation. Once you know your niche, your message, your offer, and the journey you want someone to take, then automation becomes much more powerful. Because now you're sending the right message to the right person at the right time and giving them the right next step. So how do you decide what should be automated? Here's the one question I'd encourage you to ask about every task in your business. Does this require my personal judgment, emotional presence, or specific knowledge of this individual? If the answer is yes, keep it human. If the answer is no, it's probably a good candidate for automation. A new lead comes in at midnight, automate the initial response. A client says they're having second thoughts, pick up the phone. A past client has a home anniversary coming up, automate the reminder. A close referral partner just sent you another client, call them personally, say thank you. See the difference? It's not about automation versus personal service. It's about using automation to protect your ability to provide personal service. So here's the bottom line. The agents who get the most out of automation aren't the ones who automate everything. They're the ones that automate the right things and then show up personally where it matters most. Let your systems handle the timing, the repetition, the reminders, the routing, and the consistency. You handle the judgment, the empathy, the strategy, and the relationships. Because technology should support the relationship, not replace it. Now I'm curious what you think. What is one thing in your real estate business that you think should be automated but isn't? Or maybe you've already automated something and discovered that it actually made your business feel a little less personal. Tell us about it in the comments. I'd really like to hear what's working for you, what's not working, and what you're struggling with. And if you have a question about what you should or shouldn't automate in your real estate business, put that in the comments too. Yvonne and I read the comments and we'll do our best to answer your questions. And if we see some questions that come up again and again, we may even make a future video answering them. So go ahead and leave a comment below, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Randy Hoyt. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.